something in between. RD Promo is committed to the best services and products for our clients. Our expert account representatives are committed to your satisfaction and are prepared to help you find the promotional bags, gift items, and products you need. Our compelling corporate gifts meet high-quality standards and are designed to work for every budget. RD Promo makes promoting your business affordable, efficient, and fun. We work with high-end clients, advertising, and marketing firms alike to craft successful marketing campaigns for brands. Small businesses, major corporations, and multinational Fortune 500 companies have trusted us for their product needs. Call 1-855-915-7377 or visit our website at rdpromo.com. We all know that paper straws are terrible. They dissolve after a few minutes of being in your drink. When they dissolve, they are also releasing gluten into your drink. Gator straws are different because they are made from rice paper. Rice, like when used with sushi, it gets wet and it binds. Gator straws last at least 4 to 5 hours in a drink. Gator straws are gluten-free, manufactured with superior paper, are recyclable, animal-friendly, eco-friendly, and simply the best straw on the market. For more information, call 855-915-7377 and visit our website at www.safetyworks.com. That's www.safetyworks.com. The Safety Works line of products has been carefully tested and established as the first line of defense against the worldwide pandemic and beyond. Our high-quality FDA line of personal protection equipment will keep you, your family, and your workspace as protected as possible during these uncertain times. Call 1-855-915-7377 or visit our website at safetyworks.com. That's safety, WERCS.com.
This program is furnished by amp2tv.square.
The content, information, and opinions expressed during the related show are those of the show personalities and guests alone, and not those of Vic Canellis Media Group, its parent, affiliates, or stations. VCMG Live is not responsible for any content, information, or opinions expressed. User bears full responsibility for their reliance on such content, information, or opinions.
Yeah, welcome to the Sixth Borough Radio Show, brought to you by Power Up Radio. Joe and Denise here to talk all about Florida's do's and don'ts that take place every day in the streets of New York. So get ready to ride the A train. Next stop, Boca Raton. So what do you say we get the show started?
Hi, everyone. This is Denise.
And this is Joe, and we are live from Boca Raton.
He's been practicing that
Oh,
over
yeah.
and over, and he's trying to make me practice that live.
She's
thing.
almost got it.
I'm almost there. Hi, everyone. Welcome. You are now listening to the Sixth Borough radio TV show. And, of course, we follow one of the greatest hits that you can hear from the 70s and 80s from the True Oldie station. And stay tuned. Don't go away. If you've been enjoying the music, we're going to take you back into the 60s and 70s and 80s as well.
Thank you.
And the Sixth Borough, what does it really mean? Joe, we have to talk about that again. Remind our listeners, viewers, what is the Sixth Borough?
The Sixth Borough is New York. Don't laugh at me, Freddie. New York has 5 boroughs. So originally, we called where we are the Sixth Borough because there's so many damn New Yorkers here. But the way Denise is establishing it, we're making our own little city.
We are.
Sixth Borough. And you could be from wherever you are, wherever part of the world you are, and become a member of the Sixth Borough.
That's right.
And Freddie does the initiations for that.
Yeah. You get
Members only jacket. You need a mic over there, by the way.
More specifically, the Sixth Borough belongs to everyone, like Joe said. But what's really interesting that during COVID,
Now you got a bush in my
the
face.
Sixth Borough was declared by the New York Post and the Wall Street Journal as being South Florida is the Sixth Borough, more specifically Boca Raton.
Why is that?
Well, Boca Raton is like the capital. Everyone wants to leave New York and come live in South Florida.
Exactly.
Why wouldn't you want to live here? We have restrictions, not as much as you would of the north. We live a more freestyle life down here.
Damn
you
right.
know? But the weather is amazing, and the sixth
Live to
borough. I
ride.
mean, I can't tell you. Everyone that I bump into is either from New York or some type of inner city.
There's
location.
not too many native Floridians.
My daughter is.
Especially South. My kids are too.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's this other generation that is.
Yeah, it's a generation. I think we're last.
Yeah, well, I'm from Chicago, so.
That's your problem.
Well, anyway, we're really happy to be here. We have a lot to talk about. We did a lot of things this week. We're talking about.
Well, speaking of New York and Boca,
Yes,
last night we were at an event in Boca.
we were.
A lot of New Yorkers there last night.
Yes, the Power Up, the Power Up Radio team was sponsoring and hosting and talking about it for 2 weeks about the event for the Boca Raton Police Foundation.
Yes.
And it was an amazing event. They actually had band members from Earth, Wind, and Fire and from Chicago.
Roll
And they
some of
did
those
cover
pictures,
songs.
Freddie. Oh, they were great. I mean, they were, the band was incredible. I mean, I looked at Denise at one point. I go, these guys. She's gonna get mad at me. I go, these guys are pretty good. They sound like the original band members. She
We
goes,
agreed
yeah.
with you. They were all over.
She goes, yeah, you're right. I go, that's because they are the original band members.
He likes to catch me off guard.
Yeah,
Here's
there's some
pics.
picture there.
Yeah, hopefully you all are watching this. If you're not watching, you should be listening to us on the following stations: 96.9, 95.3, 1470 AM, and you can also tell Alexa to tune in to watch True Oldies and listen to us. So these are some of the shows, the event that we were at last night. We promised to give them additional plugs. These are the cast members that we're looking at, and we
The original
have
members
The
of-
original members.
yeah.
We had Mr. Paris that was from Chicago with the band. He was the
Right.
drummer.
The drummer was from Earth, Wind, and Fire, Parrish.
okay.
Yeah,
So, and then
he
the
was great.
others were from Chicago.
Chicago, yeah.
Yeah.
And the gentleman with the vest on, I don't remember his name. He wrote songs for both. He's multi-Grammy Awards.
His last name was Coffee. Yeah.
Coffee, okay.
Yeah.
Looks
Coffee.
like he looks like he could use some coffee. That
Yeah.
guy.
Oh my goodness, he did an outstanding job. These are great writers. He's just having his way right now with the pictures. But these are the kind of things that we do. We support all of our different community events, charities, purposes that really mean a lot to the six borough communities. Which really, the sixth borough once again is South Florida. Even though the capital declared as Boca, but either way, we want to hear from you. If you have any events that you would like us to support and get a shout out, where do they go, Freddie?
Freddie's over there.
That's
I'm
right.
Joe.
I know.
Oh.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding if you're awake. They go.
There it is.
That's right.
www.powerupradiotv.com.
Go on there and you.
That's a
you-
mouthful.
Well, it is, but yes.
Well, we also have a special guest in the studio with us, the host tonight. His name's Kenny.
What's going on, everybody?
Kenny
out there?
Megchop.
See, this is what happens in the sixth
Yeah.
borough. If you've been on the show once before, you're welcome to
Once.
come back.
The guy's been on
He's
too
been
many
on
times.
Too many times, three times a charm.
He's a fixture.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm permanent now. No.
Yeah. He's a great supporter
yet.
of the show, and he anytime any of our past guests show up, you know what? You get a seat. You get a hot seat,
Yeah.
and you can be on the show with us. But I want to go back real quick. If you have a charity, you can go onto our website. Under the tab of charities, list your charity, and we'll actually make sure that we get you on any of our calendar events, and we'll give you a shout out, maybe even have you come on board, sit in the hot seat, and we'll talk about your particular event. Because that's important to us. It really is. These things make a big difference in our
Yeah, you
communities.
gotta have that stuff.
We
It's
got to
great.
have that, yes. But last night's event was great. You looked fantastic. We got some great pics
Oh,
out
thank you.
there.
You didn't look bad yourself.
Why, thank you. You can catch a lot more pictures on our social media pages. And so, you know what? I was really impressed with the music. And
They were great. I mean, I'm a musician, and just watching those guys jam, they were good.
I've been to a few of those concerts. I love them.
And these
They're
guys
exciting.
are no spring chickens, and they were rocking,
They get
man.
up there and rock
And
like
it's
like they've
I get
never,
tired
like they've
watching them.
always
and
known each other.
it sounded like the studio was so clean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to a few of those. They've done them in Pompano and Boca, and
Yeah.
I've been to quite a few of them. It's really amazing to see these guys at their age still rocking.
They all got together. Well, most of them were from Chicago.
Yeah.
I think the drummer was the only one, and the background singer, the guy that played the bongos, the other percussion, they were in Earth, Wind,
were
and Fire.
yeah.
But I mean, it was really good. It went so fast. It was so good.
Well, we actually have, because of that partnership, which was created by United We Rock, that was the catalyst that introduced us to support the event with Alan Rose, who is a really huge philanthropist in town. And he's going to be working with us a little bit more. And so because of this last event, we've been invited to also support and be part of the media for the upcoming event they have, Beatles on the Beach.
Oh,
Beatles on the beach.
Beatles on the Beach that's coming up, and that's going to be
not gonna
in
be real
December. So
Beatles.
stay tuned for that. We'll be posting, knowing more about that. Well,
When
that's
is that?
It's a clones.
It's in December.
Oh wow, I gotta wait a
Weather
long
should be much
time.
more- yeah, the weather should be a lot more.
That'd be nice on the
a
beach
lot
in
more nice.
December.
Yes.
Yes.
So
why
what,
we
stay
live down
tuned.
here.
Stay tuned for more events
Okay.
like this. We want to hear from you. But other than that, that was one of the events that we went to. We do have to make recognition, of course, to a very big loss in our communities around the world.
Yes, Queen Elizabeth.
Queen Elizabeth.
God
may
bless
she
her.
Rest in peace. She was a young 96.
96, Maron.
96 years old.
God bless her.
That's a lot of years.
That's a lot of years.
Was 7 decades? She was ruling for 7 decades.
Son is next. You know how old he is?
How old is he?
73.
Oh wow.
The new king is 73.
Yep.
So he-
73.
That's been a long time since they had a
So who's after him?
Oh, then it becomes a jigsaw puzzle.
Oh, okay.
Well, no, then it would be.
the coin toss.
I mean, I just want to say this. It's a terrible loss to the world, but it's been all over the news. Like everything else is forgotten.
Yeah, there's nothing else going on right now.
That's it. I mean,
Well, it's a big loss. I mean,
well,
this is a
she was
woman-
loved worldwide by everyone.
She's actually made some really big differences, and one of the things that she really tried to do was to keep up with their approach, like how they manage their governance and how they manage their royalty, is to keep up with the times.
Right.
You know, so she was really very well rounded in doing that.
You know, she was in James Bond movies, a couple of them.
She was in a lot of movies.
Yeah, she made quick cameos in a couple of James Bond movies.
Didn't she knight?
She made knighted a couple of people. The guy from Star Trek, Sir Patrick Stewart,
Yeah.
She knighted, what's his name?
King Elton John.
Yeah, what's okay?
The Rock.
It's okay. It's all right. We
What's
have
his
we
name?
have
The Rock.
we have guests in the audience. We encourage shout outs from the audience.
Sean
Yes,
Connery.
of course. Sean Connery.
Yeah, there he is.
Connery.
Sean
I knew it was in
Connery.
there somewhere.
Sir Sean Connery. Yep.
I
Yeah.
shake my head, get the BB going. You know.
Yeah, she actually became queen in 1952, and she was crowned. I take that back. February, she became queen. of
52.
1952,
That's when
and
you were
was
born, right,
crowned
Freddie?
In 1953.
A couple of minutes before.
Prince Charles is who the king is now, and then of course his descendants, which are William and Harry. William will be the next one in line, and that's how that's the next one. In
Oh,
line.
okay. So that's not.
Yes.
God bless them all.
Yes, she was a great person to have in our world and experience, and she was the longest reigning monarch in
Second,
British history.
second longest.
Well, I don't know. It says here was the longest.
Well, in British, but not in history.
Well, Cleopatra was longer.
Somebody was longer. I
In
know
British
she was the
history.
second in British history. All right.
Yes, she celebrated 70 years on the
I
throne.
do some research too. Okay, I'm not the
Yeah,
only
I'm
one.
proud. I'm proud of her. I'm very proud.
job.
But be as it may, she's a big loss to our community,
Yes.
and it's so strange. You know, we had done a piece on the second hour show, Power Up, about the different generations and how they're named, and she was born in 1926, so she's part of that
on.
silent generation. So she's kind of like up there with respect to one of the last.
Definitely seen a lot.
That's
She
the
has.
thing. With the amount of things that she has seen
experienced.
and experienced, it's amazing.
Yeah.
How many years? 96.
How many presidents she's been through and everything else. That she's wow.
Well, yeah, she's
Yeah.
been through quite a bit.
World
I'm sure we'll
leaders.
see more history and more movies made about her and documentaries and so on. But look, we have a photo of her up right now on our screen. For
You
those
should
who are
play the.
watching.
You should play her the young queen.
I should play the young queen.
Yeah.
I don't think I fit the role on that. But yeah, she's just being totally facetious.
No, I'm not.
Well,
No, I'm
may
not.
she rest in peace. She gave us a great classy lady.
Yes.
That we
God
can
bless
say.
her.
Always composed.
Rest
always
in
en
peace.
route. So with that said, I know that we have a nice show lined up, and we have our guest with us. He's here live, which was we're very lucky to do that because sometimes a lot of our guests remote in. And tonight we were able to have our guest come live today. And we're going to have a really interesting conversation. He's a local, but yet he's not local. He's kind of big in the industry, in the world. And we want to make sure, we look at our former guest who
Hey,
remote
Bubba.
in. Yes, anytime we have comments, we
Hey,
are
guys.
going to give you a shout out.
People are commenting on my live feed on Facebook. You got to go to our page so we could see them and give you guys a shout out.
And where's the page?
It's power
www.
www.powerupradiotv.com.
That is right.
And you can watch it live, and we'll see your
Thanks,
comments.
Becky.
Wow, did you pay this guy to comment, Kenny?
I
Kenny, you're the best.
You know, on the sixth
Live.
borough, anything goes. Anything goes on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if we talk about the seventh borough, just beware what that really means.
We got
wanna
another
be
one,
double
Kenny.
covered.
We're going to be doing this all day.
Yes,
gotta-
we are. We're going to be doing it all day. So why don't we have
What's
our
up,
guest,
Annalise?
Mike Sherman? Why don't you come on up and join us? Yes, right there.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Yes,
Mr.
get
Mike
the hot
Sherman.
seat going. Mike Sherman, I've actually I've met him once or twice, but not really. Probably doesn't remember me, but that's okay. He's here with me, and we're going to get to know him even more.
I
Yes.
feel like I've known you because I've known so many people that you work with that we've worked with together.
Probably.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
Well, one thing that we know for sure, as soon as I heard that you were from New York,
I am
and that was, what borough?
from the Bronx.
From the
Yankee
Bronx.
fan.
That's
So
why I
he's a
like
There
him
we go.
even
See,
more.
That's why.
I'm a
That's why
Bronx
we
boy.
connected. Absolutely. You and when did you move down here?
I moved down to Florida in 1982.
In '82.
Yeah.
Okay, you're
Long
still a
time.
native to New York.
Yeah.
Now, we can never take the New York out of you.
Yeah,
you
it's
agree
true.
With that?
Yeah, well, Yankees and Giants always, but other than that,
That's the Giants beat them that year in
Yeah,
'82. Them.
that's right.
No, not the Giants. The
on 82,
the Dodgers beat them.
Yeah, we were up 2, and then
They-
we got
Here
swept
we
by
go.
4.
Fernando
Here we go.
Venezuela.
I remember.
That mofo.
Winfield was had an awful week.
Yeah.
Well,
Moments between Yankee fans.
Yeah.
this is what I find interesting. We have to thank Sharon Pfeiffer for introducing
Love Sharon.
us. Sharon's a great.
Sharon, you're the
been on our
best.
show.
If you're
She's
out there
been on-
listening, I love you. Thank you. Mwah.
She's been on our show a few times, and she's just a great person. And you know, her being with her history of being one of the original mob wives, and
Yes.
and you know, she's great on TV.
Amazing.
Actor, comedy now that she's doing. So Sharon, thank you so much for introducing us to a couple of the individuals that are going to be coming to be interviewed on the Sixth Borough. So I want to say we have Mike Sherman, native New York, now in Boca Raton is where you reside.
Yes.
And one of the things that I can certainly say, and I didn't know where to start because there was so much to talk about. And
Just lay it on me, Denise.
Okay. Oh boy. Oh boy. Here we go.
Cut right to the chase.
Starting
Let's
right.
get right to the point.
Start
Here
with
it
on the
is.
mic.
All right, he moved to Boca Raton, Florida, to play college baseball, which is why
really?
now we know why he's affectionate with baseball. A graduate from Florida Atlantic, FAU.
Right.
All right, and was casted in several movies, such as Spring Break, Any Given Sunday, After College. Mike went ahead and started a successful tenure in Wall Street, which you and I have that in common. We do. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. So in 2003, you created a regional weekly magazine show
Right.
that was known as CBS Miami.
Correct.
He's making sure I'm correct. He's just checking everything off. Thank you
A
very
lot
much.
of typos in that, by the way.
Oh, that's okay. I read right through that.
I was speaking in the phone.
Yes, and so in 2008...
On the way home in the rain.
Oh, jeez. Did you have snow boots on, too?
No,
Okay. And so in 2008, Mike was on the cover of the Sun Sentinel's weekly magazine, city as one of the top 10...
People in South Florida that kick ass.
Nice.
Can we? Yeah, I guess we could say that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of
Of course,
course.
say that.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's awesome.
He said it, I didn't.
Yes.
Okay. Mike was also nominated for the Freck Award in 2010, along with the NBC anchor Trina Robinson for the Outstanding Television Host in South Florida. I do
Correct.
remember her. In 2015, Mike also created the Universal Media Group, a publicly traded company. We can talk more about that, too.
Sure.
That has media verticals, which I think a total of 5 or 6 verticals.
Yeah.
Okay. And then from the verticals, we have the podcast to a weekly television, reality shows, and film.
Correct.
I don't know how you find the time to even been here. We really appreciate this. Mike Sherman, also mostly known for his weekly documentary Before the Fame, and was nominated for South Florida's Emmy. The show airs every week on Paramount Viacom broadcast television in Miami.
Correct. Good job.
I know. It was like, but some of the names that he sat down with, I looked at a whole bunch of them. Some of my favorites, Mike Tyson, Jamie Foxx, Kim Kardashian, DJ Khaled. I had the pleasure of meeting him too. And so now you're working on some films and documentaries that will premiere in the Sundance Film Festival in 2023.
Correct.
All right. Did I miss anything?
No, you got it all.
I think we did.
You
So
covered it
we're-
all under 60 seconds. Good
all
job.
under 60 seconds. This is
And
what
of
I
all
do for
that
a
stuff,
business.
what's your favorite?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I do a lot of things. I'm a creative guy, but television. I've been on television in South Florida for almost 20 years, so it's been a good run. I met a lot of cool people, opened a lot of doors for me to do other endeavors, and it's been a really good, fun ride, and I'm still enjoying it, and I'm excited for the future.
Well, before we continue, if anyone wants to call in, make sure you dial 888-565-1470. If you want to ask a question or comment on anything that we're talking about, if you want to ask Mike a question, myself, Joe, or even Kenny here, by all means, please do so. We want to hear from you. So remember, 888-565-1470. So back to Mike.
Yes.
I actually had Joe do some work and research, and which is what we do. We have to know who we're talking to. And he goes, I have some questions for him.
Oh boy. Let's lay it on me.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
It's not really a question. It's you worked with Anna Maria Reyes.
Yes, she worked for me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, she worked for me. She's awesome. Anna was one of my first correspondents.
Same with us, yeah.
I had a lot of women that worked for me years ago that moved on to some great things. Some of them moved on to Entertainment Tonight. Some of them became news anchors at different regions of different parts of the country. So Anna's great. I love Anna.
She it was like right after you guys were done with that, she came work for me, and she was trying to get me and us to hook up.
Oh, is that right?
Meet and stuff, but
Oh, that's great.
We just got really busy, but she had nothing but great things to say.
I love Anna.
And I watched your show. It's great.
Thank you.
It
Thank you.
inspired me to do VIP TV.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
It was very, very good.
Thank you.
And the media company you have is incredible. I was looking that up too.
We have that picture, Freddie?
We're trying. We're giving it a valiant effort, but we have a lot of stuff, and it's a work in progress.
We got to go down and visit, Denise.
We do. I mean, let's just say we have Before the Fame, which is the most current project.
That's on right now on TV. That's been on now since 2018. It's a sit-down documentary series where I travel a lot and sit down with pretty big names in the world of sports, music, and entertainment, and we talk about their road to prominence. So it's really challenging. It's awesome. I got a chance to sit in Jamie Foxx's house in Thousand Oaks, California, and talk to him about moving from Dallas, Texas to LA and trying to become a musician before an actor. So he told us exactly what his objective was when he came to LA.
What a talented guy that is.
Yeah, he was awesome. Mike Tyson, who now lives in Boca, who's a good friend of mine. In fact, our friendship began when I did a show on him, and he lived in Vegas. So that's how we transpired our friendship. And there's a lot of others, DJ Khaled, and there's the Rolling Stones, Keith Richards, Ringo Starr. I mean, I sat down with some really cool guys. And I put it together on a 30-minute show each week. You can watch it on CBS on Saturday nights on My 33 at 11:30 at night.
Oh, definitely going to watch
We're
it.
going to make sure we tune in. One of the things that we do on the show, the Sixth Borough evolved, and we just kind of let it roll, although we know that the Sixth Borough has a lot of, let's just call it, memories that we go back in time, the nostalgia of the 70s and the 80s. And we've been on a roll of actually having movie actors, those that are very well known in the industry of film and in TV series shows. So it's actually fantastic to sit down and hear the journey.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, no, it's everybody has a journey. That's the best part about the entertainment business. Everybody has a journey.
Yes.
Exactly.
Whether you're an athlete, a musician, even behind the scenes, you had a journey. You delivered the coffee or you wrote scripts, but everybody has a great journey. And hopefully, a lot of them turn out to be really big success stories.
Yes. We also talk about during that success, though, there is you start from your humble beginnings and you start climbing to the top, and who's to say you may fall flat hard again?
Yeah.
And the
happens to
climb.
the best of us.
Yep. And the climb right back up.
Sure.
Yep. But you have another show on the mic. Is that
No. That was a long time ago.
a long time ago? But these
yeah.
are names that you've worked with. That these are shows and projects that you've had.
Yeah, I mean, the
Best to
Before
be
the
proud.
Fame is that's a show that's all over the country. It's a syndicated show. It's a pretty good documentary. I just started a podcast yesterday with Sugar Rashad Evans.
I was just going to go there.
And we just started actually yesterday. It's been a long time, and we had a great time. We just shot it, and TV and podcasts are so different because television. You've got to be politically correct. Hey, everybody, you're watching.
That's how we are here.
But podcast, you can say, and
Whatever.
bleep and blap.
That's
and
what
bloop.
That's what I need to
You
be
know,
on.
you know, you can just be yourself, and I
Yeah.
can be Mike Sherman. So and
Yep.
Rashad could be Rashad because he's on ESPN every Saturday doing the UFC fights.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he has also an image to uphold. But during the podcast, just like Joe Rogan, you can just
Yep.
Just let it all
let
out.
the wild, wild west come to you.
I mean, it's a big difference.
It is.
Yeah,
It
a very
is.
big difference.
It is.
But, you know, I have to say, though, there's nothing like public radio. It's the original, and it is still a preferred method of listening to news and, you know, interviews and things of that nature.
True.
So, but we do have our restrictions.
Yeah.
We really do. It's a family thing.
Freddie lets us know every time.
Yeah.
Yes, we have encountered our issues.
Right.
But I have to say, you know, tell us your journey. You're the one that's normally asking the question, so we're gonna go down your journey.
My journey. Oh,
Yes.
well, you know, it started just like any journey. You have an
That's the
idea,
wife.
and
Yeah.
you write it down, and then you execute.
I'm going back further.
Oh,
Oh boy.
you want me to go back even
Yeah,
further?
let's do this. So you were born in New York. You're from the Bronx.
Yeah.
All
But
right,
I
then.
didn't grow up in the Bronx. I grew up in North Jersey.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
So Northwest Jersey, which is like a little suburban town in Morris County.
Okay.
You know, not much going on there. You know, a lot of hicks and sticks, pretty much.
I'm from Jersey.
Oh, are you? Then you
Well,
probably
when I
know
say
what
I'm
talking
originally
about.
from Brooklyn, but I went I crossed the bridge, went through the tunnel, and I landed in Jersey.
Yeah,
For
so
a while.
When I got old enough to know, New York, then I would start going into New York at 15, 16. But for my childhood life, it was just playing sports,
Okay.
being outside, and just doing fun stuff.
Were you inspiring to be a baseball
Oh, I love
professional
to be
player?
a baseball player. I just wasn't good enough. But yeah, baseball was my, first and foremost. And then I came down here, and FAU was a D2 school at the time. So they weren't D1 like they are now,
Yeah.
but they were pretty prominent. And I had a chance to try it as a walk-on. So that was a lot of fun. And then I graduated school, and I endeavored into the investment banking field, like the Wall Street guys. And I did that for a while, but it really wasn't fulfilling enough.
Yes.
So
It's a tough industry. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't tough for me. I was $1 million producer. I was one of on the top tier. So I did very well as a broker, but it still wasn't fulfilling enough because I just felt there was something else out there. I could have continued and did that if I wanted, but I just felt I wanted to create things and build stuff and just, live out my dream because you're only here for a short time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Before you know it, man, it's game over. So you might as well do it while you can.
Unless you're Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So let me ask you, you were saying that you were creative, you're constantly wanting to create and everything like
Correct.
that. So at the time when you were growing up, when you were playing baseball, and
Yeah.
you were involved in the banking and everything, where did you focus your creativity during that time? Would you go home and do artwork? Were you creating at that time? Did you think about, when did you really let the creative part start really coming out and taking over?
Probably when I was a male stripper at 18 years old.
Okay.
Okay. I didn't see that in the notes.
I did not see that
Wait,
coming.
do we have pictures?
I had to let
Freddie, you
I knew that there I wanted to dance and be naked. And then it all
I didn't
came
get
to me.
You didn't tell me about those photos.
Of course not.
He was like, I got an idea.
You got to be on TV. No. Anyway, my life has been, a roller coaster. I did a lot of fun things, but I knew I always wanted to do something creative, and I wanted to entertain. I wanted people to say, "Oh, wow, this is great," or "This is cool," or something like that. So, ideas come to me every day. I'm thinking about something different. I have somebody in the studio right now that we're going to be creating something new in about a month or so. So I always have ideas. And I'm not afraid to throw it at the wall. And if it fails, I don't care if it fails. Because adversity to me is the biggest
try it.
success.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So
say that
that's
again.
my attitude. I keep on going. I keep on plugging away. And the walls could be coming down, but it's not going to stop me. I tell a lot of people I'm the violinist in the Titanic. I'm going to play that son of a... until we sink. That's it. So that's pretty much it.
So did you hear that, folks? From stripper to violinist.
Yeah,
He does
Now,
that.
now that's a journey.
that's right. That's right.
And he's smart enough to be a banker about it, too.
Yeah.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
the banker part, I also have that background. I was in the finance investments
Who'd you work
industry. So I worked with the big Wall Street, and I was with Merrill Lynch,
Okay.
TD Wealth. I was more in the wealth department.
Okay.
And pursued all those licenses and whatnot. Had a real good long run, but like you, it just didn't feel right.
No.
And so I went up selling my book, and it just was not something for me.
Yeah. I didn't
I've
sell
been-
my book. I destroyed my book. I got to just keep it real. It's we're 15 years out now.
Okay.
All you Gruntle and Company guys out there, you know what I'm talking about.
Well, it still
happens.
exists. You can destroy it or you can sell it either way. But but to your point, And that was a really good question, Kenny.
It was a great question, Kenny.
Yeah, about where it is that the creativity landed.
Yeah.
And I guess you reached a point where it's just boiling, and you just had to say, "Screw it, I'm out." Yeah.
Like a
So
relationship, pretty much.
yeah, here we
Wake up
go.
one day and say, "I'm out."
Yes.
What do you
No,
do?
but
What do you
Lord,
do
I know I did that.
to overcome your creative blocks? Do you get them?
Yeah, of course, man. I mean, you have high highs and low lows. I mean, this entertainment is a very tough business.
Yes,
Yes, it is.
You're gonna have your great times, and you're gonna have some, bad times. I mean, even the best of the best. I mean, you go to Hollywood, and you're here today, and you're gone tomorrow. You got to constantly reinvent yourself. I mean, it's not an easy thing unless you're a Brad Pitt or a Tom Cruise. You got millions of talented people, from
So
writers
many.
to directors,
Yeah.
producers, actors that are out of jobs, and just not enough of them. And there's always somebody coming up who's the next big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some USC graduate in film, or some writer from Cornell. I mean, but that's what makes it good also, because it gives everybody an opportunity. And now it's more of an equal playing field than ever before.
Yeah.
Because you've got kids now that are 22, 23 that are just so creative that come out of nowhere, and they create these different, concepts, Instagrams and
Yeah.
websites and shows. I mean, it's great. Good for them. I'm happy for all of them.
Yeah, I
The
agree with that.
entertainment business has definitely changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's changed a lot.
It has.
For the better.
But one thing is consistent, is the fact that if it doesn't work out, always have a backup plan.
That's true.
That's something that's my preach, and I always say that you got to have something. It's because if it doesn't work out, that's like someone that
I'm
says,
way too old to strip, so I
Yeah.
have no backup plan.
Yeah.
well,
Something-
but either way, at this point though, a great message though. So with respect to really squeezing out the creative juices and taking the leap.
Right.
Taking the leap of faith that you're going to jump into it.
Right.
You've auditioned and you just landed just without even really exactly trying. So it happens that way, but then it happens with someone that it'll take how many times to make at least one callback.
I was on a lot of auditions after that, though. After I got my first part, there's a lot of auditions after that.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah,
I mean,
And at my age now, I'm getting back into it.
You are. He's
I'm
getting back
getting
into it,
Never
folks.
too old.
Yeah.
You're never too
No.
old.
I
mean,
like
there's-
that.
there's some great success
I
stories.
talk about it all the time, but I'm blessed to be part of what I was part of. It's like this cult movie that never goes away. I mean, everywhere I go, it follows me, and we have these signings, we have these meet and greets. It's like, dude, that was 40 years ago.
It was an iconic movie.
Yeah, it was iconic.
He's 100% right. I have a friend of mine. His name is Jaleel White. I don't know if you know who that is. Maybe you do
Yeah.
know who that is. He was Urkel.
Oh, yes.
Say, was that
Yeah.
Urkel?
Yeah, so he's a good friend of mine, and he had the #1 children's show, or a young adult show
was
of all
awesome.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's hard for him to get a job.
Well,
You see him a little bit. You saw him in an Adam Sandler movie on Netflix,
Yep.
recently. But it's hard for him to get a job. He's stereotyped as Urkel.
As Urkel.
But he
Yeah.
does a lot of signings
He does a lot of
Yeah.
signings, but he never made any royalties
Yeah.
because he didn't own any of that stuff.
because it was
Oh,
the first
wow.
one, and they
Yeah,
got him.
so he was on a show that was the biggest show all over, syndicated all over the world.
Yep.
And, he goes on castings nonstop. And, Jaleel, I know you're not hearing this because you're somewhere in L.A. or Marina Del Rey, but, it's tough. And there's a lot of
Yeah.
stories like that.
I was our next guest after our show here. I just had a conversation with him about that. How if you step into a character or a role, it is the potential
hard
of
to get
you
out, yeah.
keeping that stigma.
Yeah.
And it's hard to break out.
And then there's
Yeah.
some guys that work nonstop.
Yeah.
I have
Like
another
this
friend.
guy.
I have a friend. I'm going to shout out to my boy Lamorne Morris. He was Winston on New Girl. I mean, he's been blessed to go from one sitcom to another one. Now he's on Fargo. He just got done with Woke. I mean, he's blessed.
flying. Thank
So
God.
in Hollywood, there's that list, as you know, Joe, of the guys that always will get the work.
Yeah.
It's the A-list. Okay, if you make that A-list, and you don't have to be an
You're
A-list
in.
actor, but you have to be that guy that everybody wants for that role. You're in. And then there's the C's and D's that have to hustle nonstop.
You're so
Right.
right. You watch these movies and
Yeah.
you see these same actors all the time.
All the time.
And then they go away.
Yeah.
And a new bunch comes in.
100%.
Yeah.
That's right.
Like I saw a movie the other night, and what's his name was in it.
I know that guy.
He played in Donnie Brasco. He played
Johnny Depp?
Tony Black. No, Tony Black. Not Johnny. Michael Madsen.
Oh, he's great.
He was in
Oh,
a ton
yeah.
of movies.
Yeah,
And
well,
then,
yeah,
Then
yeah.
I saw. Then
He had some alcohol issues and some drug problems.
Then I saw him as an older guy in
Yeah.
a show the other night. Oh, wow, there he is. I haven't seen that guy in a while.
See, guys like that are phenomenal actors.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
I
amazing.
love that guy. He's a great actor.
Yeah,
Put him in
Reservoir
anything,
Dogs.
But it's all a matter of that director and producer wanting him to be in that movie.
Right.
You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Oh, I know that.
These guys are absolutely amazing. You watch like Angel Dice Clay's a phenomenal actor.
Yeah.
He was in A Star Is Born.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
a lot of people don't want to put him in because
Because he's got that name.
He's he's out of his mind. Okay.
I
So,
love that. I
the-
love the Dice
No,
Man.
The Dice
no,
Man.
Who doesn't?
The
You know?
Dice Man cometh.
Who doesn't? But there's guys like that are so talented.
You're absolutely
They don't have a
right.
chance to show their talent.
Yeah.
A lot of times they have to just take these
Because
little
they're
roles.
stereotyped.
They're stereotyped.
Yeah.
Correct.
So, what do you see in the industry going? Like with your experience and what you've been doing, do you think that the talk show, like we're doing now, and what you're doing, do you see that that's taking off? That the interest from the public is like, yeah, where are these people? What are they doing? Do you find? I mean, I get
I'm
that
gonna
a
tell you-
lot.
I'm gonna tell you, it's a good question. So I was in LA last week, and I had a meeting with Joel David Moore. He's an actor in Avatar.
Oh, yeah.
He's the tall, skinny guy that's one of the supporting role cast
From
members.
Avatar?
Yeah, Joel David Moore. You can Google him really quick. He's a big actor. He was in Dodgeball. That's
Yes,
one of his
okay.
biggest ones. And he was on Bones. But he has a production company now. So a lot of these actors now
We're getting into
they're
production.
getting into production
Okay.
because there's a lot of money there with the streaming, everything opening up. So he handpicks his roles now. He gets calls from his agent. He's with CAA. He gets calls all the time. But he doesn't have to take these roles because he knows there's bigger money, there's bigger fishes to fry having your own production company. It's kind of
Right.
like what you're doing. So that is what he's doing right now. He already has the credibility. He's got the resources and the relationships. So
Yep.
therefore, he can go out into the field and he can go ahead and make his own happenings happen.
Yep.
So that's what a lot of these actors are doing now. They're starting their own production companies. The artists are doing their own labels, and they want to control their own destiny,
Which is smart.
which is really smart.
Yeah.
So, how do you find, given all your experience, and working with our younger generations, that is a constant running
Yeah.
conversation, and we're finding the differences in working with a group that's from 20 to 30, and they're from 30 to 40, and so on.
They're always late.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Well,
the
I'm Latin, so it's a name for
Generation
me.
Z and millennials.
Millennials.
I mean, I'm going to tell you what I find. I think they're smarter because they're on the
Insight.
internet all the time, but they have their lack of personality
Yeah.
and character because they really can't communicate.
They can't
'cause
carry
don't talk much.
conversation.
Relationship
So,
gaps.
I could be sitting with I could have a 15-year-old sitting with a 14-year-old. They're right next to each other, and they're texting each other.
Texting each
Oh
other.
yeah, yeah, they are.
They have no idea. They don't know, hey, so what's going on? What did you do today? How was school? They have no clue. So,
Yeah.
but you put them in a room and say, do this.
They'll do it. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I saw one of those memes yesterday. Everybody sitting at a table on their phone.
Yeah.
And the heading was "The Eagles were right.
Right.
We are prisoners of our own device."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's so true.
Great band.
It is.
Which brings up, I just wanted to touch base on the project
Yeah.
that I'm doing, which is brought up the Eagles. I'm doing a documentary. We just completed it. That will be at the Cannes Film Festival in January, called The Nikki Hopkins Story.
Okay.
And if you guys, this is an older station, and so
Mm-hmm.
Nikki Hopkins was probably one of the most well-known musicians that nobody knows about, except musicians.
Right.
He was the keyboard player for the Rolling Stones, the Beatles, Eric Clapton, Bob Dylan.
Big names.
The Eagles, Art Garfunkel, Tom Petty. I mean, the list goes on and on. Who died at a very young age of Crohn's disease, which is a really bad, debilitating disease. That he passed away. So we just completed a documentary on this guy.
Oh, wow.
It's an amazing story, and hopefully we sell it to a really good distributor. But it will be at Cannes in I'm not Cannes. I'm sorry, Sundance.
The
Did I say
Sundance Festival.
Cannes?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
messed
Say,
up.
going to France, man?
Nah.
220 in 223, Cannes, February.
I'm sorry.
That's what I got you.
Your mind's
France on my
everywhere.
mind. Talking about the Queen and all this kind of stuff.
I think she's England. I'm
My
not sure.
bad. Sundance.
Somewhere.
So
Sundance.
Yes.
he's a rocker, and you can go to his Twitter or his Instagram. It's called The Session Man, and the guy is absolutely phenomenal. He was a genius. So I just wanted to put that out there.
That's all those bands you mentioned. They have their front four guys. You don't know who's playing
That's
the keyboards
an
on.
amazing point, Joe.
on-
You don't know these
yeah,
guys that
on-
make
yeah.
them sound so
Right.
good.
Yeah.
And a
Yep.
lot of these guys always want to be part of
The band, yeah.
before it, but they don't.
because those four guys have the name already.
They
you
do.
know? Yeah.
That's a good
Yeah.
point.
Well, I have to say that you're dropping some major names, and it's it's your passion. I think it's really making a very big difference with respect to what you're doing. And if you don't have that, I think that's a gap for a lot
Mike,
of people.
did you ever do like public speaking, like You should do that.
I know everybody says that.
You really should.
Everybody
You got
says
me
that.
pumped over here.
I'm a pump. Well, that's my broker days.
Yeah.
I was like,
Got me pumped
Jordan
up
Belfort
here.
and me came from the same.
Yeah.
Other than he was a bad guy and I'm a good guy.
Yeah.
But no, I always like getting up in front of people. I do
Right.
some public speaking. I should do more of it.
You should.
There's no question about it.
Yeah.
I'm a good motivator and getting them out there and pumped
Yeah.
up. That's the athlete.
You got
in
me going again.
You know. I don't like losing if we're down at the bottom of 9-10-1. Come on, boys.
Yes.
Asses together.
Just get on base, will you? Get on base.
I love it though. It's great energy. You need
Fight
that.
to the end.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
man, fight to the end.
Yeah.
Football too. We're getting killed. Get out
Yeah.
there and hit that dude. Let's get the ball back and let's score a touchdown.
Yeah.
So that's my attitude in life. I gotta
Yeah.
just keep.
Good
on
attitude.
going.
Great attitude.
100%.
That's true. That's how when I started my business, that's what I became like a yes man.
You have to be.
And I would just say yes to people. They asked me something, and I would say yes, I could do that. That's how I created my swimwear line. When I did Miami Swim Week, it was because somebody said, "Hey, can you make your artwork
Yes.
into a
You know
bathing suit?"
Lila
And I was like,
Nicole?
"Yeah."
Lila Nicole.
Yeah.
She has a swim week too. She does a lot. So I thought
Oh,
maybe-
nice. I worked with Planet Fashion TV with Celia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
I worked
yeah,
with her a
yeah.
lot,
Yeah, she's
So
cool.
We're having
Yeah,
a
she's
personal
amazing.
moment here.
Yeah, Kenny?
But
Bro time.
Kenny's the main
back to what you
man.
said, you're 100% correct. You have to, and the common denominator I found
Yes.
out in all these celebrities that I sit with, how they became famous, is they had that same attitude. They saw a vision, and they just didn't let anything come between, get in the way of that vision.
Yeah.
Let me sum that up. It's discipline.
It
You're
takes
right.
discipline.
That's
yeah.
the magic word. The big
Discipline.
D.
Yes.
Yes.
But dream
I'm
big.
sorry, I'm big D. But no, the big discipline. That's the word that you have
That
to
is
run
true.
with. And stop.
Shaking his head.
Goodness grief. I'm the only female here, obviously, with a set of brains. Is that what it is?
Yeah. Yes.
Alrighty, but back to what we were saying. Discipline is the key word. And
Yes.
anything in a passion, right?
I agree.
in this
Go big or
particular
go home, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. And so much messaging is to be said with what we're talking about, but I have to stop and pause and recognize our sponsors, if you don't mind.
No,
We're
I
going to
don't
go
mind
to a
at
quick
all.
commercial, Mr. Freddie over there. Let's go to commercial so we can actually
Time out.
recognize our sponsors real quick.
Pictures and stuff, videos, you forgot.
Promo is the premier source of unique and captivating promotional products. Whether you need gifts for trade shows, corporate giveaways, holidays, or something in between, RD Promo is committed to the best services and products for our clients. Our expert account representatives are committed to your satisfaction and are prepared to help you find the promotional bags, gift items, and products you need. Our compelling corporate gifts meet high-quality standards and are designed to work for every budget. RD Promo makes promoting your business affordable, efficient, and fun. We work with high-end clients, advertising, and marketing firms alike to craft successful marketing campaigns for brands. Small businesses, major corporations, and multinational Fortune 500 companies have trusted us for their promotional product needs. Call 1-855-915-7377 or visit our website at rdpromo.com. We all know that paper straws are terrible. They dissolve after a few minutes of being in your drink. When they dissolve, they are also releasing gluten into your drink. Gator straws are different because they are made from rice paper. Rice, like when used with sushi, it gets wet and it binds. Gator straws last at least 4 to 5 hours in a drink. Gator straws are gluten-free, manufactured with superior paper, are recyclable, animal-friendly, eco-friendly, and simply the best straw on the market. For more information, call 855-915-7377 and visit our website at www.safetyworks.com. That's www.safetywercs.com. The Safety Works line of products has been carefully tested and established as the first line of defense against the worldwide pandemic and beyond. Our high-quality FDA line of personal protection equipment will keep you, your family, and your workspace as protected as possible during these uncertain times. Call 1-855-915-7377 or visit our website at safetyworks.com. That's safety, WERCS.com.
And so we're back, everyone. So we have to recognize our sponsors. We want to make sure that we
RD,
go ahead, you go for it.
RD Promo and Sourcing, the premier promotional items for your business company. Whatever you need with your name on it, what are these guys? They're the best. RD Sourcing and Promo. And Safety Works, all natural cleaning products, safe for you, environment, gloves, anything you need, all natural made. And the last is...
Oh, the best. Go ahead,
Gator
you say it.
Straws. Gator paper straws. Everybody's switching to paper straws now. We're going to have to in Florida soon. It's going to be the law as of January. No more plastic straws. So, and if you guys have used paper straws, they really do. They're terrible. But Gator straws, they're strong. They last in the water, and they suck the best.
That's what I heard. No, yep, that's exactly what it is. It's a lot of fun. So, again, thanks to our sponsors. We want to make sure everyone knows that without them, we are not putting ourselves out here to give you the entertainment that hopefully you are enjoying. So we are with Mike Sherman, who is our guest right now, and giving us some really great insights in his
Great
career.
stuff.
And and a lot of challenges in being in the industry, in film and production, and crossing over from one career to the next. I think that was stripping to
You're bringing it up again.
I think
Stripping to Wall Street?
Wall Street. It's the same thing. You're putting yourself out there.
Paint stripping.
And then from there, crossing over into the media world, where
Right.
he's produced and been an actor himself, producer, director, writer, filmmaker, doing everything across the board that I think so many people would love to have the opportunity to do, and you are doing it.
Thank you so much, Denise. I appreciate it. You know, it's a work in progress, and I just try to stay humble. And you know, it's just the beginning. I think there's a lot for me to accomplish, and I'm looking forward to the challenge.
So now, what's going to be the next chapter?
Oh, the next chapter. Well, this
Yeah.
documentary is pretty exciting for me. I do have a reality show that I can't talk about too much with a huge Hollywood producer. I can tell you his name, Larry Kasanoff.
Okay, I know the name.
He did, his last thing was Mortal Kombat on HBO last year, but he did True Lies, The Terminator, Spider-Man, Platoon back in the 80s. Some big names. And he's going to be producing this new project that we're filming actually on Miami Beach.
Nice.
And I can tell you the name is called Stunnin' and Sobe.
Stun it and so be.
Stunnin'.
I
S-T-U-N-N.
like it.
Stunning.
Stunnin' and Sobe, and it's a show that will cater to the new generation.
Oh,
You know,
nice.
these influencers, these beautiful girls that are, you know, that
Oh.
that all our
Yeah.
ex-boyfriends and fathers are looking at, you know, 24/7.
That are dating the fathers.
maybe. So it's a new project, and I have one of the executive producers with me in the studio, Rourke Smith, that's going to be part of it, and you know, so that's a fun one. And
We got a
just keep on-
comment. I think it's for you, Mike.
Uh-oh.
Love this. Anita Lawson.
Living dreams is so important.
Thank you,
Yes,
Anita.
it is.
Thank you, Anita. Appreciate it.
Well
All right,
said,
Tita.
Anita. Thank you
Great
for doing
energy.
that.
Thank you very much.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate
Definitely.
it.
Yeah. So this is up and coming project.
Yes, this is going to be shot very soon in Miami. We don't have a film fund here in Miami yet, although there is a lot of good projects. But you know, we're going to film it here in Miami. We're shooting a pilot here.
Okay.
Nice.
You know, I want to touch on something.
Sure.
And we have not talked about this at all. And it's around how does one raise money for a movie?
Well, that's a great question.
And let's talk about it for a couple seconds.
All right,
here.
sure. So
Yeah.
that's where my background in finance comes in handy. You know, I was a Wall Street guy, so I learned to put together different platforms where you can enable your investors to have some type of exit strategy just in case it doesn't work out, which 99% of the time these movies, you know, they don't even go to production. You know, it's very speculative, and they're all they're all ideas. But if you have a big name behind you, a big director, producer, most likely you have a production company to come in and they'll do the financing.
Okay.
But you're still going to need the initial seed money to get it started. So how I do it is, we're a public company, Universal Media Group, Inc. We trade UMGP as our symbol. And whenever we have a project, we go to different private equity guys, high net worth individuals, and we'll raise capital for that project, and we'll give them, some shares and also a piece of the project. So,
Okay.
they're covered on both sides of the coin.
So is this a fund where?
No, it's a public company, just like any other public company, like a Disney or a Viacom. We're just on, we're a smaller company. We're on the micro caps, but we have a lot of great things happening, and
Yep.
hopefully, we have a big end zone, and all of our shareholders will benefit in the end.
And how many movies are in let's say in the fund or in the pipeline of interest on an ongoing average? And what are the size of the projects so that the audience can hear that the size of these projects is typically either you're working with or the scope of what we're talking about?
Okay, so with the Nikki Hopkins, the Session Man, okay, that I came in as a 25% producer on that project.
Okay.
That project was about $1 million, okay, to put together, and then our goal is to sell it in the Sundance Film Festival to a big distributor.
Okay.
Okay, a Sony, a Lionsgate, something like that, and then we would work it out. So I would raise capital, and then the group out of London, they raise capital. So it wasn't a big budget. Okay. However, on these other projects, small films, anywhere from $3 to $5 million.
Okay.
And I'd come in and raise the initial maybe $1 million, and then they would raise $1 million, and then they'd take it to a finance company like Co-America Bank, and they would fund the rest of it. So it's all it's a formula that I'm starting to learn right now because I've always been doing more smaller projects.
Oh.
But the more I frequent to LA and sit down with different production
See how it's
companies,
starting to go,
they're showing me how it's done,
Yeah.
and it's a learning. It's a work in progress. It's a learning in progress. So that's
Wow.
what I'm doing. So I'm staying with what I know, my wheelhouse, and hopefully within the next couple of years I can be doing some really big features, big movies.
So this is really aspiring in the sense that how many kids really know this? Parents, like, we watch movies all day long.
Yeah.
And you often have to think to yourself, probably they don't think about it. We can talk about it here.
Right.
It's like, how much does it take to make a movie?
Yeah.
And what is involved in making it? But first of all, if you don't have money, you're not doing anything.
Money you get, honey.
You can have concept, but you're not going to go anywhere and make it happen.
And I think
so
that's
true.
the side of it a lot of people don't get to hear.
right.
The the real struggle, the hustle that it takes, the relationships you have to build to be able to get to
Yep.
to be able to get your hustle going.
Right.
What part of it do you like most as far as do you like being more in front of the camera or behind the camera doing the
I
production
love being
side?
in front of the camera.
Easy answer.
I'm like Sherman. Eyes on me, baby.
What kind of question was that?
Listen, there's some people that will say the
bear
latter.
in the woods.
but you know what? But back to the movies. There's a lot of movies that get made, but what you're saying is making a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You have the exit strategy, and
Yeah.
you also have to have the distribution and
That's so important. That's the key.
Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah.
call the X factor. You can
Yeah.
make the coolest stuff, but if you don't have that distribution,
Right.
you can make that car, but if you don't have a dealership selling it, you're going to hold that car
'cause
forever.
there's so many
Right.
movies out there that people
And there's so many
there's
movies, so you have to do a lot of relationship stuff. You got to go to a lot of different events, and you got to rub noses with a lot of these guys. And LinkedIn is great too.
Yeah.
Yes.
LinkedIn. You just go to TV production and you just send out little basic hello emails. Hey, I'm so and so.
Yeah.
I live in South Florida.
They
I'm a
answer.
producer. I'm a director. From time to time, I'd love to just reach out to you and keep an open line of communication up
Yeah.
and down the road, like my old broker days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And sometimes 9 out of 10 they're going to say go whatever.
It's great how the broker and the entertainment part.
it's very true.
Work together.
That's why I asked, because I was thinking of this. He gets so excited talking about that part that I'm like,
I can't imagine him making a trade.
your energy goes so high
My
when you're
energy
talking
was off
about
the roof.
creating that I'm like, well, maybe
It's
that's
very
part of
funny
it
you say
might
that
be.
because the manager of my office when I first started out, we had like a big bullpen, like in Boiler Room, and he used to put me in the middle, and I was a big producer, so I deserved my. If you did pretty good, you got your own office.
Right, the
on
corner.
on
The
on
corner.
the corner.
You were the guy.
So I wanted my own office. He said, Mike, I got to keep you in the middle because everybody feeds off of your energy. If I take you out of the pen, he goes, everybody's going to be just doing the regular. I need your crazy energy out there. So
Yeah, we
so
need you to stay on the show, but
You got to have crazy energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, either they were sitting there saying, "Oh God, he's doing it again. Tell him to go away."
Pretty much. Oh yeah, I was. Yeah, either you loved it or you didn't.
Well, you've had quite an interesting journey so far. I can't imagine how much more it's going to unfold and even better. You have aspirations and still continue. You know what? If you don't have the discipline and the aspiration and the desire, and the passion. What do you think? It's not going to happen.
You got to keep on coming. That's it. Just
Can't give up.
Don't give up.
cannot give
Keep
up.
on
Yep.
coming.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right. You got to keep that train rolling and constantly moving. And, the stuff that you've talked about, I'm glad that we touched on because there are topics that we have not mentioned before. And we do have an audience out there, grant you, I know that it's a more mature audience, but really what's mature because their parents or grandparents to someone else. But, we have 35 to 65 plus listening.
That's great.
And so
Congratulations on the show, by the way.
Thank you.
It's an awesome
Thank
show.
you.
Sharon, speaks the world of it. I love the music you guys are playing. I was listening to it out there in the green room, and rock
you
on.
back.
Takes me back, man.
Yeah,
Like my old
nice.
Michael Jackson, Jackson 5 days, Donny Osmond.
Be careful, you're aging yourself.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right.
But it was a pleasure having you on the show. And
Yes.
I would love you to come back again.
Yeah,
Anything
absolutely.
you got going on, it's open for you anytime.
Yeah, Joe, I
to come
really
back.
appreciate it.
Yeah, really
Paisan,
great to meet
it's
you.
good. I'll tell all the boys back home that you said what's up.
That's what we sound like. A little bit of Stallone. I hear a little bit of Stallone in there somewhere.
And Freddie,
Yeah, I get that.
Freddie told me the joke he hit him with when he came in.
I did.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I said I'm the feds. Yeah.
He goes, "You looking for Joe?"
I kid around a lot. That's my personality, man.
Still looking for me,
I'm
that's a
always
big
joking.
problem.
People either like it or they don't.
But we want to come visit you at the studio.
Oh,
Yes.
for sure, man.
Yes, we'd love to have
Absolutely.
that visit.
Yeah, for sure. And it's a pleasure here, and keep on doing your thing. And I want to thank all of you guys.
Thank you
sir.
for coming on.
Thank
We
you
really
very much.
appreciate it. You've given us some really great nuggets of different things to think about, our audience to really wow, I didn't know that. Entertainment. That's what we're all about.
100%.
Old school OG stuff.
That's
and
right.
Bring in some of that fun and
Yes.
some of that great stuff. And,
Hard work, dedication, and a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
And your listeners are in South Florida?
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
So tune into my television show tomorrow night on My 33 at 11:30.
Yep.
It's on Kayla Harrison, PFL champion, who is a beast of a fighter, and she had a hell of a journey getting to where she is. So
we're gonna watch
tune in
that.
for sure.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Absolutely. Again, thanks so much for coming on.
My pleasure, Denise.
It's been a great pleasure having you here. Your passion, your energy.
Yeah. Great to meet
We're
you.
pumped for the
Exactly.
next hour.
We're pumped. Stay
do
tuned,
it.
everyone. We will be moving into the Power Up Hour, and we will be having Robert Losarto that's going to be joining us, that has been in more movies that we can even
This guy got like
imagine.
6 pages of movies he's been in.
That's right. Yes. And
Great.
stay tuned because he's going to share with us his journey and where he is today and all of his messaging. And he's been in like 84 movies. And I can't tell you how many movies he's been in. But for those of you that don't know, I'm sorry, he's been in 71 films and 28 TV shows. And he's written 3 books and is a poet.
And he didn't know it.
That's right. Yeah, this is yes, that's right.
The upcoming
Kenny's
movie,
in the
The
movie
Squad.
with him, and this is someone that I've watched, and he was on a show called Nip Tuck.
Yes.
and he played
Played
a
the villain.
very, very
That was a great show.
a villain role, and it was really intense.
He always plays the
I
villain.
liked him in the movie
So
Dirty.
we're going to talk about that, like we just
He was
mentioned, about
good,
being in
awesome.
character and trying to break out of it. But again, thank you so much for being
thank you so
here,
much, Joe.
and
Thanks,
stay tuned,
Mike.
everyone. We'll meet you back here. Stay tuned.
Hey, thanks for riding the Sixth Borough Radio Show. We hope that you will stay with us for part 2 of the show on Power Up Radio. Let's get your weekend started with a little bit of laughs and plenty of sauce.
The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
RD Promo is the premier source of unique and captivating promotional products. Whether you need gifts for trade shows, corporate giveaways, holidays, or something in between, RD Promo is committed to the best services and products for our clients. Our expert account representatives are committed to your satisfaction and are prepared to help you find the promotional bags, gift items, and products you need. Our compelling corporate gifts meet high-quality standards and are designed to work for every budget. RD Promo makes promoting your business affordable, efficient, and fun. We work with high-end clients, advertising, and marketing firms alike to craft successful marketing campaigns for brands. Small businesses, major corporations, and multinational Fortune 500 companies have trusted us for their promotional product needs. Call 1-855-915-7377 or visit our website at rdpromo.com. We all know that paper straws are terrible. They dissolve after a few minutes of being in your drink. When they dissolve, they are also releasing gluten into your drink. Gator straws are different because they are made from rice paper. Rice, like when used with sushi, it gets wet and it binds. Gator straws last at least 4 to 5 hours in a drink. Gator straws are gluten-free, manufactured with superior paper, are recyclable, animal-friendly, eco-friendly, and simply the best straw on the market. For more information, call 855-915-7377 and visit our website at www.safetyworks.com. That's www.safetywercs.com.
South Florida's Good Time Oldies is here. WWNN Pompano Beach, a VCMG live radio station. The new Oldies 95.3 and 96.9.
The Safety Works line of products has been carefully tested and established as the first line of defense against the worldwide pandemic and beyond. Our high-quality FDA line of personal protection equipment will keep you, your family, and your workspace as protected as possible during these uncertain times. Call 1-855-915-7377 or visit our website at safetyworks.com. That's safety, WERCS.com.
This program is furnished by amp2tv.square.
The content, information, and opinions expressed during the related show are those of the show personalities and guest alone, and not those of Vic Canellis Media Group, its parent, affiliates, or stations. VCMG Live is not responsible for any content, information, or opinions expressed. User bears full responsibility for their reliance on such content, information, or opinions.
Let's get your weekend started on Fridays with your one and only new host, Denise. Bringing you amped, raw, and fun energy to entertain as you end your week to welcome your weekend. Denise will bring you friends, celebrities, entrepreneurs, topic experts, musicians, foodies, local events, news, and much more to educate, celebrate, motivate, relax, and relate. As she says, let's make your mess your message. So let's get this party started. Here's Denise.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Power Up Hour, the second part of our 2-hour show for Power Up Radio TV. And what a great first half segment we had.
The energy that guy had.
That guy
Mike
had
Sherman.
energy.
We had
Thank you,
Mike Sherman.
Oh.
Yes.
Yes, a local for us, but a native from New York, so he's a right fit in and a shoe fit for the sixth
guru
borough.
in the entertainment business.
A guru in the entertainment business.
Yes.
Quite big story. So if you've missed that segment, you can certainly go back and catch it on the actual website, www.powerupradiotv.com, or you can go to Facebook and watch a live stream through there as well if you've missed the first show. Some great nuggets of inspiration, education about the movie and film industry, breaking out the money part, how you raise money, and then also being from, in high school, going into the Wall Street world and cutting that loose and moving into media. That was some really great entertainment piece there. So I encourage you to go back and watch Mike Sherman, guys.
And I want to give the website another push because my partner here did a great job getting it together. And, you guys got to take a look at this thing. It's really, really quite impressive.
The actual website, I'm very, very
Makes
proud
us look
of.
like we know what we're doing, actually.
No, it's real hardcore. And, that
No,
website.
it's not hardcore.
Not that kind of hardcore.
Well, no. Yes, okay, I'll rephrase.
Now everybody's going to it.
That's it.
No, the website is really to encompass what we do here at Power Up Radio TV. We are going to be launching a Power Up Media company and creating a digital city. And so we're going to be helping our anyone that is becoming part of the community for Power Up Radio TV. We want to make sure that we can keep you as informed as possible.
What is it again? Tell everybody.
It is www.powerupRadiotv.com. And you know what? I really need to share that we're going to be launching a shout out page and adding it to the website called the Birthday Shout Out. So if you go on, sign up as a member, you can actually wish a happy birthday to someone else, and then we'll make sure that we announce it on the radio for them.
Yes.
I mean, if you're in South Florida and you're in the entertainment industry, you should be on their page.
Yes, thank you.
Real talk.
Yes, this is really a very unique platform, everyone, and we appreciate you being here. The Power Up Hour was our original show, and the Sixth Barrel came, which is the hour before this one. And the Power Up Hour actually has its own personality where we talk about the comeback story. And we've had so many comeback stories. That's where you started.
That's where I
Joe
started.
was on the Power Up Hour, and then hence did such a great job, came back, and then the Sixth Borough came to be, and now he is the host as well with me on the Sixth Borough. So we just put that all together.
The way I've just been watching this grow is it just blows my mind. It's like it seems like we just started. You know, we've been doing this since April now, and it's I look so forward to Friday coming here, and Denise having all of her little cheat sheets for me, and she works 24/7. She works really hard.
We actually have approximately 80 shows completed.
Wow.
And that has been since November. Actually, more specifically, right, Freddie, I think October 31st. And my very first show, and I was in costume, know that. We're going to have to go back and repeat that show or show clips of it when we reach that anniversary date, which is around the corner. But the Power Up Hour really has had some very, very interesting stories, some very, very hot topics, some very edgy topics as well. So, you really have to enter into the show. It's kind of like, I've heard this before, it's kind of like a box of chocolates. You don't know what you're going to get, but you do know.
Until you bite into it.
Well, yes, but until you hear it. So it could be nuggets of inspiration, education, motivation, and the goal is to kind of get you to hear some great comeback stories or topics that are pretty hot, but we try to incorporate some very sensitive levity around that as well, because some of the things we've talked about have been really intense. I mean, we've actually talked about on this show, we've had topics around addiction, we've had topics around sex trafficking, we have had topics around fraud, we've had topics that are very hot in the community, things that are very uncomfortable to talk about, but we still create a platform to do it, and it's still we manage through the conversations. So once again, we're going to be doing a lot more, and our next guest is amazing.
It kind of flows between both shows because he's a native New Yorker.
Yep.
He's part Italiano.
I know he is.
Yes, that's a good idea.
Yes, we do.
Freddie.
But before I open up with his demo, we have Robert Losarto, who is an American actor, native to New York, and also is a man behind the scenes. He's a graduate from the New York Performing Arts School with high honors, and also currently lives in California, is also a veteran.
Navy veteran.
He is a Navy veteran, so we certainly have to thank him for his time and dedication to the services. And while he was a veteran, he handled dogs. 2 years worth of working with dogs that work with the veterans and our soldiers and so on. And in addition to that, this person is just amazing. His roles have gone overboard. 71 films.
There's just...
So if you're listening, you need to Google this.
Everybody knows this man when they see him. He's
everybody
so
knows.
You can't
many
miss him.
movies.
Yes.
And Kenny here has had the pleasure of working with him in a movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah?
I'm really excited about that.
Yes. That's one of the main reasons why Kenny came here today, although I know he's been on here before. He loves us, but...
We just love having Kenny.
Yes. But to continue on Robert Losarto, if you are listening, please, by all means, go ahead and Google him, because this is information. I've watched him over 20 years back.
Yep.
And
more than
so,
that. He's from the old
a lot
Steven
more than that. I was
Seagal
trying to keep
movies.
myself young there. Easy. So 71 films, 28 TV shows, has written 3 books, and has written poems as well. And we'll talk about that very shortly. But some of the things that he's written out, based on his appearance and his roles, you would never think that this person has this most amazing personal side to him that is sensitive but yet enlightening, and he is just evolved into a stage of where he's very enthusiastic about sharing where he is right now.
Let's get him on already.
Let's get a sizzle reel rolling. Robert Losarto, we'll bring you on in a moment. Let's warm you up.
I'm Escobar Gallardo, Celia's boyfriend. Sure you're not hungry, guys?
Look at all the different looks.
My
This
girlfriend,
is a clip from one of my
loves
favorite
the hot
shows.
shit restaurants in town, but
Nip
I
tuck.
prefer it here. Nothing beats a fruity
How
tooty.
young they were.
He's your personal taster?
With power comes envy. With envy comes assassination. Maybe if you laid off the cocaine, you wouldn't be so paranoid. Mira, bro. Old school. Guys, don't you miss the 80s, man?
For our radio listeners, you are currently hearing
That tit you're holding
some of the
is
lines
worth
in the sizzle reel.
$250,000. What do you
Yep.
want?
Yep.
What's mine?
And we're going to bring
Pepe
on Robert
fits the tits.
Losarto.
One.
And there he is.
Hey, how you doing, Robert?
Look, there he is. Hi, Robert. How are you?
What's up, Robert?
Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. I can't tell you the feedback that I've had after putting out there that we were going to have you on our show here, the Power Up Hour, and just so many comments. And you and I chatted a little bit about this, but your journey has just been amazing. And we really want to dive into some of that and share where you are today, you know, what it was like being in character, how you step in and out of character and separating yourself from that, and talk about, you know, some of the questions that are burning in our minds about how you got to where you are and your roles and how unique you are. But I just have to say, your accomplishments, I know you're humble, but they are quite a bit. You've done a lot in your lifetime. You have a lot to be proud of, and your work is just exemplary. I mean, I have to say, Nip Tuck, one of my favorites. That was an amazing role. Was that one of your earlier roles? I mean, you did that really early on. Some of the Nip Tuck, you had a very long run with them back then when that was out. And the villain role that you played, on point.
If you'd like me to answer, I can answer the question about the show.
Yes, please
Nip
do.
Tuck,
Tell us about the Nip Tuck role.
Yeah, you asked me when the timeline was that we filmed it. I believe it was 2005, 2005, 2006.
That's when the show was huge, yeah.
2007.
Yep.
Yeah. But I started acting professionally in 1987. I got a contract with Warner Brothers to do a movie entitled Moving, starring Richard Pryor, Dana Carvey, Randy Quaid, and some other notables like Rodney Dangerfield. So I had started in the 80s, the late 80s, over the span of, I guess, I don't know, 2022, over 3 decades. And so, you know, long before Nip Tuck, there'd been quite a slew of experiences with various artists, actors, and celebrities prior to Nip Tuck.
Yeah, Robert, you've worked with them all. I mean, you were in like 2 or 3 Steven Seagal movies I've seen that I remember you in. I remember you in Out for Justice and Hard to Kill. You were in those 2,
Yes.
right? Yeah, I remember.
Well, we
I
had
have an interesting story about that. I met Steven Seagal at an audition for that film that you mentioned, Hard to Kill. And it was something. I went in, I read, and Steven Seagal, or I just call him Steven because I had a personal relationship with him years ago, and he's very friendly and took a liking to me. And he just seemed to be the type that didn't censor himself. He would just say, you know, what he thought or felt right in the moment, even at the audition. And he told me exactly how he felt about me right after I completed the audition. Because, you know, there's always this ambiguity that occurs. You know, like you do the audition, you're wondering, okay, did I do a good job? You know, did they like it? Did I nail it? You know, whatever. There's all these questions that over time you have to overcome and just not care. You just do the best you can, you leave and you forget about it. But in the early stages of that audition process, there was a lot of anxiety. And I think it was so nice about Steven during that audition, he complimented me basically. I won't say exactly what he says because I don't want to take the magic away from it because it was very personal. But he said some really kind things to me. Fast forward, I get hired to do the film.
Right.
Okay.
And then we're doing the movie, right? We're on set. His former wife, Kelly LeBrock, was there. She was very friendly. They were both very nice to me. We talked in between the sequences. And he said, listen, Robert, there's this other movie that I have in development. I'm working on the script and about these guys in New York and Brooklyn, these gangsters and stuff. And there's a role in there I think you'd be perfect for. I'm going to write something with you in mind. I said,
wow.
Well, thank you, Stephen. And I hadn't gotten to the point yet because I was still, pretty much green in the industry, the movie industry, on that level, studio stuff. So I hadn't gotten to the point where you're like, oh, great. You're smiling. You're thinking, yeah, right. I'll never hear from this person. I wasn't apathetic yet. I wasn't I guess I was naive. So when he said that to me, I believed him. And after all these years, I realized what an anomaly it is when someone says something in this industry and actually comes through. So I'll cut to the chase. A year later, I got a phone call from management saying, Steven Seagal wants to meet with you. He wants you to meet with his new director for a film entitled Out for Justice. I went into the office. I met with Steven. He was there. We talked. He introduced me to the director. And then 2 weeks later, I was on set with Steven again. So he kept his word, which is very, very unusual.
In this business, yeah.
Well, just in general today in life, it's unusual, but that's very promising that still exists.
Yeah.
So you actually were very much so. I want to go back in time with you if it's okay, and I want to talk a little bit about when you grew up. I believe that you had a background that was really very. It wasn't an easy road. But what's most amazing is that, you were like many of us who were latchkey kids and, whether or not you're part of some circle of being raised outside of your traditional family group, but you actually managed to graduate with high honors from the New York School of, the High School of Performing Arts. And then you did very well. You pushed through. You really, really pushed through. You didn't let DNA make it be part of who you were to wind up in one spot. You pushed through to your destiny of what you wanted. And that's a great example to talk about. And I really want to hear from you a nugget or two about what was the constant push to make you go beyond and stay in the lane to where you are today. Like back then, tell us what it was for you.
I think the answer is pretty primal and basic, at least, from my point of view. Death. I saw my death coming.
You were involved in some pretty
so I had to make
tight
a decision whether or not I wanted to live or die. Because a lot of my friends were killed or made decisions that placed them in circumstance where they lost their freedom, their minds. So I felt, for whatever reason, this kind of gravity field, this pull, magnetic kind of feeling toward a certain tendency. I don't know where I got it. And I knew it was destructive. And I looked at it for a while. And certain experiences manifested around it that were not heroic. I don't need to go into detail, but I'm not proud of it. And so as I looked at that more, I realized if I continued along with that practice, that it would be the ruination of my life. So I had to make a decision whether to live or die. And so I decided to live.
Great choice. Great choice. I would say that it sounds to me that a majority of your experience in that part of your journey, you facing a lot of different challenges growing up, would you say that more or less manifested into the roles that came to be today because you could identify with them? Tell me a little bit about your thoughts around that.
Some of the characters that they have written in terms of the psychology, the subtext, in relationship to mental illness, I can comprehend easily because of what I witnessed when I was young, when I was a young boy. And so when you're in a situation that you have no control over, whether you like it or not, you absorb the psychic field of that situation. And it has an effect on you, whether it's conscious or unconscious. And I didn't realize until later on in life that I was echoing or reflecting various tendencies that were like like something you catch, like a cold or something. If you're around people who are ill, then it's contagious. You catch it. And so I realized that maybe some of the people doing the casting noticed my disposition and read it a certain way. It didn't necessarily mean that I was walking around consciously thinking about how my earlier life affected my moment-to-moment existence. I wasn't walking around the streets as a raving lunatic. I wasn't behaving in a way that people would look at and say, "Ooh, that guy's strange." It was more or less something I internalized, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But when you appear before casting directors, some anyway, who have a very cookie-cutter mindset about archetypes and how casting should be constructed for the sake of the marketplace to make money, they immediately go to what they feel is a noticeable quality that they can exploit. They feel. And part of that is their projection. And it also might have something to do with the way you're manifesting. I don't know, it's hard to say. So I think, yeah, some of my ability to immerse myself in states of consciousness or states of being that are unsettling to the viewer have a lot to do with what I absorbed when I was very young. It's not like it's not about acting. It's about basically opening certain doors of the subconscious and channeling a disposition that you're familiar with, and having the freedom through practice in the art form itself in doing that. It's not like, it's kind of like this. There are men who've been to prison, there have been men who've killed other men, but if you put them in front of the camera, they may not convey that kind of the ferociousness or what you would imagine them to be, because it's in front of the camera, it's a whole different deal. Your ability, my acting teacher used to call it learning to become private and public. So your ability to reach down, dig within your being to bring about the experiences that have shaped you more or less. I wouldn't say not define you, but have kind of shaped you and challenged you to transcend. Your ability to grab that and pull it out in front of the camera and let go of the ego and just become that,
right,
can be quite effective. But just because you've been in horrific situations or experienced things doesn't mean that you can do that in front of the camera. Thus, there are actors that have never been to prison, never killed anybody, but they're so convincing in their ability to channel a disposition because of maybe something that happened to them that's similar to that, or they experience trauma. They can replicate it in such a way within the frame of fiction to make it seem as if they are quite capable of doing that. And that's the trick, or that's the technique, which is effective, I think, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's important to be able to access those aspects of life experience and bring them to the page. But in terms of your question with casting, I don't know if casting directors in of themselves are all a collection of an enlightened bunch. Some of them are very intuitive, intelligent, insightful, and understand creativity. They understand the process. They understand the business, and they're great casting directors. Some, like any job, they're not that good at it, and they don't always see what's in front of them.
Right.
They don't always know how to see a talent or an ability that can be either exploited, utilized in the marketplace properly. And so they will ill-use performers and place them in a category based on their own hang-ups, their own inability to see the bigger picture in terms of what the artist can bring about. So I don't think it's the failure of the artist to bring it about. It's the failure of casting and producers and directors to recognize what's right in front of them. People think that directors and producers and casting directors, maybe not so much these days because the quality of the product has become so substandard, but people used to believe that they were impervious to critique, that they had some special knowledge and ability to see things in a way that made them more intelligent. That's why they were in these positions of decision to decide who gets the role and who doesn't. But I'd say that a lot of them, some of them have misused their power, used their power incorrectly, and did not have the insight to cast correctly.
It's a tough industry. It's very tough.
Yeah.
It is. There's aspects of it that are tough. It's a tough life, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
then
is.
you get the directors, that do what you said. They bring out that part of you. Like my director in my first film, he took me on the side before, almost like a coach. He said, "Now, Joe, this is you. You got to just be you here. You got to go out there and get those girls. They're waiting for you. You got to go out there and get them." And it's almost like a coach pumping you up. Get you out there. Go do it, But it is the inner talent in you. But some directors, the good directors, have a way of getting that out of you. You agree there?
That's their talent.
Right. Exactly.
Some have the talent to do that.
Right.
Some don't.
Some
know how
don't.
to trigger you, like you just
Some don't,
described, and some don't have the ability to do that.
Yeah.
They push toward the result. They
Exactly.
say, make it bigger, give me more. They go to the result formula rather than the trigger mechanism. They don't understand how to do that.
Yeah.
Wow.
You talked about earlier how you have this magnetic almost drawing to doing things that are probably not heroic, so to speak, with some of the roles that you've
I'm
played.
sorry, I didn't understand. Can you say that again? I didn't quite understand your sentence. I said, I what?
Yeah, you said that you were like I had a magnetic draw to something that was maybe not so heroic.
In my personal life. Yeah.
Yes. And
When
so
I was a young man.
Right, and so going with that, knowing that you went through certain things like that, and you have that draw to you when you're doing some of the characters that you play, do you almost feel like you're sometimes feeding that need in those characters? Do you allow that to take that position?
I look at it as catharsis.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's a healthy way to exercise those tendencies within the frame of fiction and not go to jail.
Yes.
So it was a blessing for me, like psychotherapy, to be allowed a stage. And I think a lot of artists struggle this way. I'm not so unique in that sense. I'm not some unique happening. I've talked to men and women, young and old, from various walks of life, who have used the art form as a way to transcend various past lives that they felt imprisoned by, misunderstood, tortured. And so the stage became a way for them to liberate themselves through fiction that became more like a reality than the life they knew prior. Or they could draw from the life they knew prior and combine it with the fiction. And it was something interesting to watch. All human beings, I think, struggle with an inner conflict. So this idea of good and bad and villain and hero to me is nonsense. They're all like cartoon descriptions. Anyone who talks like this, sorry, no disrespect, doesn't really understand the psychology of man and what's going on in the world. There are no good guys.
Right.
No.
There's a lot of gray. Good
Yes.
men
A lot of gray.
do terrible things.
I think as we
Bad
mature,
men do good things.
as we
I
get
think
older,
what you come away with in this life is that there's an eternal conflict in every being. And if you look at the state of the world right now, it's a reflection of humanity as a whole, whether it's someone to blame the leaders that run the world and say, well, it's their fault that mankind is falling into this degradation and self-loathing and pornography and distrust toward one another. Or is it just men getting lazy in their own backyards and not doing what's necessary to hold the integrity of a society together? If the common courtesy starts to depreciate, then society collapses. If the common trust depreciates, then civilization collapses.
well, hence I have to say, this is
So
someone.
who's responsible for this?
Oh.
Like, I have a question for you. Who do you
Okay.
think's responsible for this?
Oh, for all the acts of what our communities and world is, we all are. We're all responsible.
Exactly. We all are responsible.
We're all
have,
responsible.
Exactly. We all are responsible.
We all
There
have
it
an
is.
obligation to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I have Robert. I want to say really quickly. When I've shared this before, I've had so many share with me. Oh my God, that's such an intense actor, and just like they thought that you were this, they see in the movies. And I said, no, this is a very enlightened person, and I actually want to share that you write. You're an author and a poet, and I know that Joe has a couple of questions. I'm going to let him run with this.
I want to know about the tattoo poetry books. I was looking at that. I mean, I love my ink. You love your ink. Is that what inspired you to make these poetry books?
Joe, two things. I'm just grateful. I'll answer the question, but I just want to, before I forget this, I'm grateful that now in the 2022, I'm looking around me and seeing a lot of young people, men and women from all walks of life, tattooing themselves extensively. I never thought
it's crazy
I'd ever see that happen.
It was
so this social phenomenon.
It was taboo back in the day. It was taboo back in the day. Yeah.
Right.
It had a stigma.
Right. So I'm grateful that things have changed quite a bit.
Right.
It's made my life easier socially. When I walk around and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not a big deal anymore when I walk into a place. People don't freak out as much,
Yeah.
And so to answer your question, though, the genesis of the writing, I think people over the years who would meet me when there was still the stigma and the curiosity where they thought, well, your tattoos don't do you justice because you're this really smart guy. And so there was still the thinking that tattoo itself was an anathema, a curse, or indicative of a mindset that was not very evolved, criminal mentality. Although I know some criminals that are really smart, so I don't know about that. But the point is that the book was basically the books about the ink, and was a confession and answering the questions that many people asked me over the years, which was why. Casting directors, why did you do this to yourself? Or people that knew me in my social life, why? Or what does this mean? I'm trying to understand you. I'm trying to understand what the ink reflects in terms of the interior aspect, the ethereal self, who you are in your mind, or who you are as a being. So it was a way for me to kind of like, through poetry, just answer those questions. I felt like I realized the universe was sending people to me, and I had this responsibility, I guess, to explain what it was for me. I can't speak on everybody else's behalf. Everyone has their own reasons for doing this, for ornamenting the body and self-expression. So that's why I wrote that material, so people would have a better understanding.
Each tattoo. Each tattoo
what the significance of it is.
Right, but each tattoo
it seems
generally
to have
has a story.
Excuse me?
Each tattoo, I know with me, I don't know about you, has a story. So is that like you were expressing in the poetry?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, we have a caller.
Long is the way and hard that out of hell leads up to light.
Right.
Like Dante in the Inferno, he's going through various levels. Dante in hell, Dante in purgatory, and then Dante in the Paradiso. So I felt like the way I perceived life at that time was this battle to overcome not just the world, not overcome other people's ignorance, but my own and my own arrogance. And as I moved through various labyrinths of experience, it seemed hellish. A lot of the time I felt disconnected. I did not feel like I could, the thinking, the process of thought, the way I perceived the world, I felt was not the common belief. I felt like in this dissociative state, people would talk and I'd understand what they were saying, but I couldn't relate. So I felt like I was on the planet, but living in a different world. And there were moments where it just seemed torturous, And I didn't know how to deal with a lot of those feelings at the time. But when I go to the tattoo shop and I met other men, not too many women, but other men who also felt misplaced on this planet, in this world, they understood where I was coming from. And we talked a lot. And so it was a way to kind of work through those issues. It was like a form of psychotherapy. Going to the tattoo shop was a way to, I don't know, to atone for something.
And most tattoo artists are therapists now.
Yeah. Tattoo artists are like therapists.
I mean, you could talk to your tattoo artist. Yeah.
Some, not all.
Yeah.
Some can.
Yeah.
So we do have a caller.
Yeah.
Robert, we do have a caller. I just want to make sure everybody knows that we are speaking with Robert Losarto. This is our interview. So please hold. We have a caller let's bring them on.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes. Who's calling?
Hey, what's going on? My name's Les. I'm in Fort Lauderdale.
Hi, Les. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, man. I'm actually really enjoying the interview a lot, man. I'm a really big fan of Robert Losarto and his roles. And I kind of discovered this, paying attention to his Facebook. And I'm excited for an opportunity to ask a few questions, if that's okay.
Sure. Shoot. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. Losarto's been great. I was paying attention to what he said about casting being really important, And I was just watching a movie that he was in called Attack of the Unknown. And I was just thinking to myself, how, just certain roles would make or break a movie. And, I saw that Richard Grieco was cast for a role that, Mickey Rourke or someone like that would have been perfect for. And I was just thinking to myself how much the characters reminded me of each other. And I get it. And as far as the mental illness thing, man, you kind of were painting a picture that some casting directors are kind of paid to kind of exploit certain parts of a person's personality. Even if it may be a certain type of mental illness or a somber, approach to life. What do you think about that?
I think that. In identifying with what Robert was saying, I understand that what you're relating to with respect to casting and the pain and all the different layers of what Robert is sharing. So we do appreciate you calling in. And
before you, can I say something?
Yes, of course.
Sure.
Yeah. Les, is your Les? Les?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Les, thank you for the compliment, by the way. I just want to thank you for being, calling in and giving me the compliment.
Seriously, you've never been in a role that I did like, sir. Honestly.
Thank you, brother.
Awesome.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. But I want to speak to you because I think I couldn't hear too well what you're. I got a chunk of it. I think a lot of this has to do, once again, with other people's perception of things, despite what they see in front of them. Here's the thing, this, it's like anybody, it's a visual medium, okay? We've been trained over the years to identify with how people look and assign them qualities that they may or may not have in real life. But in the movies, if you're beautiful, then you must be nice. If you see, so it's very cartoonish in the way the psychology functions. And I think the good news, though, is that for every movie like Attack of the Unknown, there's another film where a director will say, no, I see other qualities in Robert that demonstrate something else that we need to explore. So luckily, because like I said earlier, socially now, the tattoo is not a big deal. So if they put me in army clothes and I play a general or I play a character that in the past they would say, there's no way Robert's going to play a fireman or a detective. It's just not heard of. But because the world is changing, policemen I know that are getting tattooed, firemen. So now we've kind of crossed the threshold of the taboo and moved into a whole new happening. And what's so cool, Les, is that I'm finally meeting directors now that are casting me who are completely covered in tats. And they say, yo, man, I grew up watching you. And you're one of my inspirations for getting tattooed. I used to be an MMA. My friend Bruce, I just did a movie with him called, was it Jack and Diane, The Legend of Jack and Diane. He came up to me and he's neck tattoos. I never thought I'd see a day where a director would respectfully come up to me and speak to me eloquently, because he's a smart man, Bruce, and made a really quality movie, and be covered in ink, and rather than shame me over it and ask me, why would you do this? He thought it was wonderful to be in my company, and he was very happy to be collaborating with me. So there's been a huge paradigm shift in terms of the perception of things. And I'm so grateful I lived long enough to actually see these younger men growing up and reflecting something that I didn't plan. It wasn't contrived. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to tattoo myself so I can be cool. I had to tattoo myself. I had to bring about the internal struggle to the flesh so I could come to terms with the emotional construct of my mind, the psychological torment that I felt. It was a way to free myself from that suffering without doing something that was by far more destructive based on the outward observation. Because most casting directors are like, oh, that's completely self-destructive what you've done. You've ruined your career. I actually had casting directors tell me that, producers say, you could have been a movie star had you not done this. You're so talented. So people haven't been very kind in the past. In the present, though, that's changed a lot, man. So, but not everyone is so quick to jump on that. There are people that still want to say, man, Robert plays this type of disposition so realistically, I want him to be the serial killer. And I'm not offended by that, because to me, the serial killer is a man who is struggling with a conflict for Lord knows what reason. So I don't deem him devil. He's just conflicted and doing what people perceive to be terrible things. Just like the government sends hundreds of thousands of men to go fight in the Middle East because they have an agenda. Is that good? Is that right? I got a lot of combat vet friends of mine coming back from the war that are not too happy about what the good guys are preaching on the news and how they're having to witness the atrocities of war, the brutality of war, and go, wait a minute, man, what's really going on with all this? So that's why I say the gray is bigger than this idea of black and white. Black and white to me are the negative, positive poles of duality that live in a fiction, man. Maybe on some other planet, not this one. There's too much, there's a lot of aspects of the way things function in our world that is so convoluted now. Good luck trying to find that needle in the haystack to say, hey, I found, just when you think it's one thing, it changes into something else. We were allies with Russia during World War II to go against the great evil, Hitler, right? Now Russia did something over, you know what I mean? So the playing field just keeps changing. So 1 minute something's good. Japan is bombing Pearl Harbor. We're dropping a bomb on Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Now they're our allies. It's insanity, man. That mentality is the nature of mankind.
It is very much so indeed.
The devil created it, whether somebody's mother created it, the serial killer kills because his mom abused, who knows? The point is we got to be careful when we start labeling and judging people because we're all struggling, man. I've met a lot of dudes in prison that were doing death sentences. They were doing life imprisonment, facing death sentences. And I looked in their eyes and I talked to them. And once you have a conversation with some of these men in a specific moment in time, they were tempted by passion, by rage, and they did something. And they woke up out of that experience and looked around and said, wait a minute, what did I do? And now they're in prison for the rest of their lives. So that, to me, what they did is not their defining moment. It's just something they did and they have to pay for based on the way law is structured in the world and cause and effect. But it's interesting when you see these men behind bars that are painting incredible works of art, who are intelligent in the way they think. And I've met people on the outside that to me are not even functioning with the same evolution of thought that some of the men that we deem as devil in the prisons that we should lock away because they're so dangerous. Some of those men behind bars are enlightened. They're reflections of our society. They are our mistakes as a society. They weren't born with the hatred or the frustration they had. Someone had to create them.
Yeah. Well,
You know
those
what I
are-
mean? And so you come to, like I did, you come to a crossroads in your life where you let the governing tendency, which is your life past, whether it's torturous or not, but if it's torturous life, then you give yourself an opportunity to make a decision. Am I going to let this influence me and do this, or am I going to fight to transcend this gravitational field that's pulling me into a place of violence, a place of destructive behavior? So every man who struggled with identity, who struggled with passion, struggled with abuse growing up early on, with whether it's abusive mother, abusive family, abusive whatever, has to come to terms with this decision and fight against the temptation to embrace evil.
Awesome.
And just like the world governments have to do the same thing. Are they motivated by helping the people, or are they motivated by greed?
Well,
Is
you
it
certainly
just one big monopoly game? I don't know. It's rhetorical. I don't have the answer. But a lot of the stuff that's happening around the world doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up any more than human behavior makes sense. When you watch things on YouTube and you see two people fighting in a parking lot, trying to kill each other over a parking space, man. Let me ask you a question. Who's the good guy in that situation and who's the bad guy? You see what I mean? It's really difficult when you start trying to do that. Human beings are very complicated creatures who struggle tremendously in a world now where we're being pushed to the edge because of governing entities that have power to make us live in a state of anxiety if we let them. If we let them. We can take a walk on a hiking trail. We can go to the beach. We can visit a friend. We can help a community. We can do things to take us away from the negativity. Selfless things that are not about narcissism.
Well,
so
we do
I
have
would
to,
say,
Robert, we do need to cut for a break real quick. And
Do that.
stay tuned. Stay right where you are, and we're going to cut to a quick break.
RD Promo is the premier source of unique and captivating promotional products. Whether you need gifts for trade shows, corporate giveaways, holidays, or something in between, RD Promo is committed to the best services and products for our clients. Our expert account representatives are committed to your satisfaction and are prepared to help you find the promotional bags, gift items, and products you need. Our compelling corporate gifts meet high-quality standards and are designed to work for every budget. RD Promo makes promoting your business affordable, efficient, and fun. We work with high-end clients, advertising, and marketing firms alike to craft successful marketing campaigns for brands. Small businesses, major corporations, and multinational Fortune 500 companies have trusted us for their promotional product needs. Call 1-855-915-7377 or visit our website at rdpromo.com. We all know that paper straws are terrible. They dissolve after a few minutes of being in your drink. When they dissolve, they are also releasing gluten into your drink. Gator straws are different because they are made from rice paper. Rice, like when used with sushi, it gets wet and it binds. Gator straws last at least 4 to 5 hours in a drink. Gator straws are gluten-free, manufactured with superior paper, are recyclable, animal-friendly, eco-friendly, and simply the best straw on the market. For more information, call 855-915-7377 and visit our website at www.safetyworks.com. That's www.safetyworks.com. The Safety Works line of products has been carefully tested and established as the first line of defense against the worldwide pandemic and beyond. Our high-quality FDA line of personal protection equipment will keep you, your family, and your workspace as protected as possible during these uncertain times. Call 1-855-915-7377 or visit our website at safetyworks.com. safetywercs.com. That's safety, WERCS.com.
And we are back. Thank you so much for our quick break from our sponsors. We want to thank R&D Promo, Safety Works, and also Gator Straws for, of course, being our sponsor. And we have with us in this hour, Power Up Hour, Robert Losarto, who's been opening up, sharing a lot about himself. And I have to say that, you know, we only have a few more minutes left, Robert, and you've actually given us quite a bit to think about. And I just want to share, we were just mentioning how interesting it is to see a character that we see all the time on TV and who you are in person.
It's awesome.
It's awesome. This is an awesome dynamic.
Thank you.
You really are very much so different, and I told everyone you were, and you really gave us a lot. Different in a very good way, meaning the character you portray, but who you are when you meet you and your dimension and your depth. Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Don't forget, hey, Denise,
Yes.
just a reminder, don't forget that what you're watching on TV and movies is a fiction.
Of course. Of course. And let's remind the public of that. We will remind the public of that.
But a lot of people do relate
Oh, yeah.
to that, you know?
And it's great to debunk it.
They need to wake up.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yes. I say that often. You don't judge a book by its character. And when you open the book, you might be so surprised what you find and the depth of that person or the depth of the story. So thank you so much for opening.
They've been trained to do that. They've been trained systematically over time to do that.
Absolutely.
By identifying with imagery. So.
Yes, very
Absolutely.
easy. But I know that you have a current project. And Kenny, you want to share a little bit about the current project that you're working on?
Yeah, I actually got to meet Robert on set of The Squad, Rise of the Chicano Squad. We had a great conversation in one of the scenes where we were there was like a big pool table, it was like in a mansion. I'm not actually in the scene, but I was there for the filming. And I watched him when he walked in because I wasn't sure how he was going to be. I was like, you know, you never know. And beforehand, we ended up having a really long conversation, really good conversation. And it was refreshing to hear not only his enlightenment and his knowledge, he had really good wisdom. And it was really nice to be able to see that and feel that and get that from him on set, you know.
Well, he certainly did it right here live on radio.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
for sure. He took it out from set onto here.
And I got to see him go from, you know, Robert Losarto to the
Character,
scientist in
right.
the squad, and it's really an amazing transition. Like he almost metamorphosed into something else. So it was really great to work with you on that project. And I hear now that you're doing some directing, and that's something.
Wow, so you're moving into directing now. That's great. Oh gosh, I can't imagine him being a director and trying to pull out the essence of the character. That would be very interesting. That's awesome. So we are coming to the close of our show. Thank you so much for being on with us.
Really appreciate it.
If we wanted to go ahead.
Appreciate the compliment, Ken. Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Awesome. Well, again, I thank you so much for you taking the time. I know that you have a very busy schedule. And Godspeed. We wish you, the best in your success of your career. And we're going to stay tuned to see what you do next. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank
Good
you.
to see you again,
Take
man.
care. Thank you so much.
Take care, guys. Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Great guy.
Great conversation, great nuggets of inspiration and thoughts. And once again, I just want to say what you see on camera by no means is that the person that we know personally, that we just had on the screen. And it is true.
Unless it's a home movie.
Unless it's a home movie? Oh, it's different. Okay, different. All right, I get it. But be as it may, here we are at the Power Up Hour, and we got some really great feedback from someone.
Yes, the knowledge that he brought, breaking barriers for sure. Thank you, Wendy.
Yes. Thank
for
you
sure.
so much.
For sure.
Absolutely.
What he said about the tattoos, is so true. If my dad, when he was alive, if I got a tattoo, he would have went berserk. I would have never been able to got it. Now look at me, midlife crisis. I'm practically, my arms are covered, and it's weird now. It's not weird. It's cool. Everybody has tattoos now. Girls, guys, everybody.
It's amazing.
It's art, and every tattoo tells a story.
Tell a story.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And I could see where he got his poetry from. I don't know if I would write poetry with mine because some of it's kind of dark. All right. I was just watching Attack of the Unknown. The whole time I felt Mickey Rourke would have delivered.
We have a commentary from our Facebook followers.
Prince Les, he was on the. I think he was the guy who called in, right?
Yes, this is our caller, and
Yeah.
so we had a lot of callers. Sorry, we couldn't get them all in, and but to the point, it's so easy to be typecasted. I think that's the proper term.
Yeah.
When you have one appearance and you fit the bill constantly. But truth be told, they're nothing like that in the role that they play.
Is it always a bad thing? I mean, I've gotten typecasted a couple times and it doesn't bother me. It's work.
Well, I've gotten typecasted in life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, me too.
And I'm trying to prove that that's not me, but and I'm more like the characters I've played on film, than the people think I am. But it's acting. That's what acting is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not really, because you got actors, great actors that could play any role. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But a guy like a regular guy.
Yeah, but what this man is trying to say, even with his tattoos, he wants to play serious roles and do serious stuff and be other things. Play a general, play a cop. And,
And he can be cast as a
it's
detective,
happening.
and
It's
it's
happening
believable
now.
now,
Yeah.
whereas it wouldn't have been believable
Yeah.
before.
Right, exactly.
So his casting of a bad guy, is that the issue?
He plays villain in a lot of his movies, and I guess it's very easy for a director or someone that's looking to have someone that has his look. It's very easy to fill that role, I would imagine. But you wouldn't have.
I'm sorry. It's also his look.
Yeah.
You can implant in a lot of just implanted in.
He's done comedy. He's done comedy as well.
Yeah.
He really has.
Good idea.
Freddie's finally getting a mic. So
and with 5 minutes left.
Yes.
Mama
But
Luke.
you know why? Because I'm intrigued. If you were cast as a bad guy, right, and you're getting back into business and you're getting back, would you care? I think your point is excellent.
I'll pay any part. An actor wants to prove that he could play any part.
Now, if you're an established actor,
Yeah.
like he's an established actor.
He could play whatever
So he may
wants.
want to play things that he wants to play. Then he doesn't want to be.
Right.
I'm trying to understand that.
My favorite actor of all time, by far, is Al Pacino.
Okay.
Because he could play anything.
Anything.
Okay? Played blind men, gay men. He's played it all.
He has.
And to perfection. I have a handful of favorite actors, but he's steps above everyone else. That's what your goal is as an actor, to show that you could play any role.
But then let me ask you guys a question. A villain has to have a certain chemistry across the screen.
Yeah.
You can't,
As he said.
As he said, you just have to have that look. The tats help it. You could play a villain all your life because you look like a villain.
Thank you.
But I mean it as a
No,
compliment.
but I know what you're
But
saying.
I mean it
No.
as a compliment.
That's Freddie. Now that I'm getting back in the business, that's primarily what I'm going for.
See,
now.
like one of my favorite actors is Gary Oldman, and I feel like he's been able to portray
anything.
Anything. I
Yeah.
mean, even people, even out of this world stuff with
Yeah.
with Fifth Element. You
Great
look at
actor.
somebody like him, and I think about
That was
that.
a great movie, Fifth Element.
But yeah, I can tell you, it doesn't bother me
Remember
when
that movie he was in with the French actor? That he was the French actor was the hitman and he was protecting
Yes.
a little girl.
Yes,
he played that psychotic cop, Gary Oldman.
Yeah, he was The Professional.
Yes,
The Professional. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Talk
That's a
about
good
an
movie.
actor.
Oh, I remember that movie.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
good. I saw like
But
Do you
two
think
at a
I
time.
could be casted as a villain?
Yes, you are a
yeah.
villain.
I'm a
I
villain.
think you could be
I saw the way you
casted
yelled
as
at
a
those ladies to get out of
superwoman. Like
Superwoman.
I saw the way you yelled at those
Superman.
ladies to get out of the pictures last night. You could be a villain.
Okay.
Excuse me. Excuse me. We've been waiting.
Oh, the truth comes out.
We have 1 minute.
We
Great
have
show,
1
guys.
minute to the close. Good show, everyone. We had Robert Losarto on for the Power Up Hour, who gave us some really great nuggets of being in the world of acting and the roles that he has, the life of being a writer, and from coming from such tough inner street lives, but pushing through, making it to the point where he's made it. I mean, he's been amazing. Kenny, thank you so much for showing up. and
Anytime, Ken,
being
you're
on
always
set
welcome.
with
I love it.
us.
I know you wanted to
Yes.
talk, but Robert kept this going.
He did. He did a great job. So here we are, another week closing, and we're looking forward to next week. You just never know who may show up next week, so make sure you stay tuned. If you want to go ahead and watch the show again, go to www.powerupradio.com.
You didn't pull this off till the end, and you did a great job.
Well, it always
PowerUpRadio.tv.com.
happens. Yes, things always come together. So we manifest everything. Everyone have a great, safe weekend. And you know what? Manifest.
Go
Make
to that
things
website.
happen.
Keep going.
Maybe get a tattoo.
Sign up on the website. See
in
where we're
next
going to
Friday.
be next.
Yes. All right. Everyone, have a great weekend. Thanks. Take care.
You have been listening live to the one and only Timeless Denise as she helps you bring in your weekend with a smile. If you wish to contact Denise and be on the show, call us at 866-224-5422 or email Denise at poweredupradiotv.show and tell us how your business shapes up the weekend. Again, call us at 866-224-5422 and make your mess our message. Now that you are powered up, go get your weekend on.
The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.